It is Yoda Monday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This evening, let us turn towards the latest iteration of all good ones, easy meditation. The view of reality that supports letting go is the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. It is known by many names, including Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up. No, our job is not to try to think our way to nirvana. That's just silly. But we're going to use ideas to sort of limber up our mind, to make it easier for our mind not just to notice, but to let go. Let us begin by chanting an explanation of the 12-syllable mantra. I invoke teachers of loving action, of mindfulness and meditation, as well as the Hung view supporting release that the Pensatantric. Guru teaches Pema enlightenment and siddhi abilities who may be mastered by all. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with all follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors or similes. Let us touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left little finger, and then rest our left hand upon our left thigh, thus gently inviting our real or imagined energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Together, may we see how all circumstances or lots appearing yet as void as a real or imagined paradise of light could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. I do believe there is an error here. Yes, there is. Let's fix this error, shall we? That works much better. So now we're going to take all these words and allow them to coalesce into just 6 syllables, which we are going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Or should I say between 4 inhalations and 4 exhalations. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite these 6 syllables. During our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath for 4 consecutive breaths. And here's a quick pro tip. Let's count 1 breath per finger and 1 repetition per set of creases. Om Ahum Zaguru Me Masiri Hung. Om Ahum Zaguru Me Masiri Hung. Om Ahum Zaguru Me Masiri maziri hum. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me 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 Maziri Hum. Oh, gotta reach for that hinky. Excuse me. Let us touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left ring finger, and then rest this left hand upon our left thigh, thus gently inviting our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Please chant with me. May we feel how all bodies are from sensual yet as void as our Buddha's real or imagined archetype of light. Could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. 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 Let us touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left middle finger, and then rest this left hand upon our left thigh, thus gently inviting our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the heart region of our chest. May we hear her world interpersonal speech resounding yet as void as a real or imagined mantra of light. Could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. 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 Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. Please touch the tip of your left thumb to the tip of your left index finger, and then rest your left hand upon your left thigh. Doing so could gently invite your real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the crown region of your head. Please chant with me. May we feel how all minds lucid, yet as what is a real or imagined seed hung of light could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung, Om Ahung Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. We will turn to the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, which are known by many names, including Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation, after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. We shall begin with the first of 4 phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 8 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Multiply that by 8 and you get 64. On our left hand, we count sets of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 8 inhalations. 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 8 inhalations each. To keep track of this, our first phase, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the crown region of our head. Come, let us demystify enlightenment. Testing. What if enlightenment did not mean you were magic, did not mean you never had a thought? That's silly. What if enlightenment was simply mastery of Gautama Buddha's Eightfold Path? But what do we mean by mastery? Mastery of anything simply means we get so good at it that we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. So here's the wild thing. When we train in the seventh fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, mindfulness, and the eighth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, meditation, the remaining 6 folds could take care of themselves. Let us view mindfulness and meditation through the lens of neuroscience. Please chant with me. The unity of the octuple couple sporting and tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to mindfulness. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. Since the Neolithic Revolution, society has been conditioning all of us, or at least most of us, to be so rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel that we will denigrate the few, the minority, who strive to emulate Gautama's attributes of being flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Therefore, it should come as little surprise that so many so-called meditation teachers are rigid and controlling in their approach, or that they implore their students to actively focus and to actively analyze, although they might use different synonyms. Now, the only parts of the brain capable of focus and analysis are the discrete neural pathways found in regions such as the medial prefrontal cortex or the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. The very great problem is that when we fatigue our prefrontal cortex, it triggers our amygdala, which functions as the seat of both anxiety and aggression, which, let's face it, these are the opposite of the results we desire from meditation. I've got some good news for you. Neither the amygdala nor the prefrontal cortex or the totality of our central nervous system. Let us begin with our sympathetic nervous system. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are accessing the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. It has evolved to help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which I'm sure you'll agree is the opposite of concentration. But what is it that we have evolved to notice? Generally, we have evolved to notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, such as emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. But on a deeper level, we can notice that some of these things we desire and some of these things we dread. Furthermore, on an even deeper level, we can notice that we are resisting the absence of what we desire, and we are resisting the presence of what we dread. So let's tie this up in a big red bow. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we are gently nudging our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system that we might practice the noticing that is known as mindfulness. What do we do with all that stuff that we notice? Simple. Every time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we could find ourselves physically relaxing and mentally releasing that exact same resistance to the absence of what we desire, and also that resistance to the presence of what we dread. Now, if we release it, does that mean it goes away? No. No, it doesn't. Not all the time, and not always quickly. But we wind up releasing the tyranny of that resistance. So that resistance controls our choices, utterances, and deeds less and less and less. And that is the liberation that the Buddha offered. So now, together as a team, let us meditate for the next few minutes. And oh yes, by the way, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. We come now to the second of 4 phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 8 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Multiply this by 8 sets and you'll have 64. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 8 inhalations, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 8 inhalations. Excuse me, we could keep track of this by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the heart region of our chest. Would you please chant with me? The translucence of the all-good Father and Mother depicted in paintings reminds us of the meditation's experience of impermanence and non-graspability. By way of review, we explored how silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation could help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly all manner of things, including all that we desire and all that we dread. But what are we to do with all this stuff? Simple. Every time we take 2. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to effortlessly access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of our spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release, helping us to so release our resistance to the absence of what we desire, helping us to so release our resistance to the presence of what we dread. That what we noticed during our previous inhalation could literally feel impermanent. We see impermanence in the world all around us, do we not? We see the impermanence of this. As we see the changings of the seasons, we observe the impermanence of a year. As we watch the waxing and the waning of the moon, we see the impermanence of a month. As we watch the rising and the setting of the sun, we feel the impermanence of a day. And right now, we could gingerly place our fingertips upon our upper chest, as we could feel it swell, we could feel it sink, and observe the impermanence of a breath. Ever changing one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. And an excellent simile for non-graspability is this. As we relax into our exhalation, oops, I forgot a part. Let's go back over here. The quickest way, so every time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we cannot help but release. When we do that which we observed during the previous inhalation can feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now we have to ask the question, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is most certainly intangible to the hand? And so here, this literal impermanence and figurative emptiness that aids with letting go is the gift provided to us simply by regularly training in mindfulness and meditation. And so together as a team, let us play with mindfulness and meditation right now. But remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. I apologize that I seem to be talking in a hokey FM DJ voice. I have a chronic postnasal drip, and I have to speak from my diaphragm very deliberately, or else I lose my voice. We turn now to the third of 4 phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 8 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, see that closer. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Multiply that by 8 and you have 64. So in our left hand we count sets. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 8 inhalations. 5, 6, 7, 8. To keep track of this, our third phase, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing this gently invites our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Please chant with me. The beauty of sky blue kuntu zangpo and cloud white kuntu zangmo yam reminds us of the highest love, spontaneous and uncontrived. When we regularly play with mindfulness and meditation, when we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, helping us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. When we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, helping us to release. Then not only do we let go of our resistance to the anxiety and aggression whose seat is our amygdala, but we also stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, this fuchsia-looking thing that kind of resembles a sloppy letter C. This thing functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, which is the root of compassion and love. This is exactly why the late Tulku Thondup insisted that the highest love was not the product of using focus and analysis to somehow concoct an analog of love. Au contraire, the highest love is the spontaneous and uncontrived fringe benefit of simply noticing and releasing every 12 hours or so. This is the key. This is the dynamo that drives our ability practice kind intention, kind communication, kind conduct, and commerce that is as cooperative as it is kind. A full 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is all due to mindfulness and meditation. So together as a team, let us practice right now. We come now to our fourth and final phase of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 8 inhalations, we could advance our thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is great lighting. During my 10 o'clock class, I couldn't get the creases to show up, so this is great. If we multiply these 8 repetitions, or these 8 inhalations, by 8 sets, we get 64. And on our left hand, we can count the actual sets. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 8 inhalations each. 5, 6, 7, 8 sets, you guessed it, of 8 inhalations each. To keep track of this, our fourth phase, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Please chant with me. Un momento. The stability with which Kablu Samanda Mandara sits, and the abandon with which Cloud White Samanda Mandari sports, reminds us of the effortless effort of centered spontaneity. Now, we've already talked about when we train in mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation. And when we train in meditation by silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, thereby releasing. We stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus to practice the highest love, which is spontaneous and uncontrived. You know, it's all well and good to want to do well, but how are we to know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, for how long to do it, or how much to do it? The more we practice mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, the more we'll notice that our choices, utterances, and deeds begin to flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. No, not scattered spontaneity. You know, like the scatteredness you might feel after your 5th espresso, but rather the centered spontaneity that is driven by mindfulness and meditation. This could be thought of as flowing, or going with the flow of our Buddha nature, or surfing our Buddha nature. But what do we mean by Buddha nature? Buddha nature is just a charming Iron Age way of describing that which we now know because of imaging, functional magnetic resonance imaging. And that is this. Every healthy mammal has a sympathetic nervous system that gives them the capacity to notice. Every healthy mammal has a parasympathetic nervous system that gives them the capacity to even fractionally release. Every healthy mammal has an anterior cingulate gyrus that makes love's centered spontaneity possible. These are the 3 components of our Buddha nature. And by cooperating with them, our life can work out wonderfully well. So many people are scared. that if they release their resistance to the absence of what they dread, that if they release their resistance to the presence, I'm sorry, I misspoke. People are scared that if they release their resistance to the absence of what they crave, if they release their resistance to the presence of what they hate, they'll get chewed up and spat out by life. Like a piece of poop you might step on the sidewalk, curse your misfortune, and then scrape off in the neighbor's grass. Because we believe in sharing everything, don't we? But the opposite is true. The more we practice effective mindfulness and meditation, the more our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from centered spontaneity, the less of a doormat we are, the less of a reactionary hothead we are, the more of an enlightened individual we become. So together as a team, let us meditate silently right now. And remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. We now shift gears from silent meditation to mantra meditation. Please join me in chanting an explanation of this 12-syllable mantra. I invoke teachers of loving action of mindfulness and meditation, as well as the Hungview supporting rallies that have been tantric. Guru teaches me my enlightenment and city abilities who may be mastered by all. So it's very simple. During our in-breaths, silently and mentally we recite relaxing into this. But what do we mean by this? This is simply whatever we notice spontaneously. Whatever we notice during our inhalation, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Whether that which we notice is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. What do we do with that which we notice? During our exhalation, we do two things. We physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath for 4 consecutive breaths. And if you've just joined me, here is a quick pro tip. Count 1 breath per finger, 1 repetition per set of creases. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me or hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. The most important thing is not how fast you chant the mantra or how beautifully you sing the mantra. The most important thing is that you are vulnerable as you breathe in and that you relax as best you can as you breathe out. Let's go for it. Om Mahum Binzu Guru Me Maziri Hun. 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 Thus far we have played with Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up, Anu Yoga's energy work, Ati Yoga's mindfulness meditation, and now it's time for Mahayoga's compassionate cool-down, also known as mantra-oriented loving-kindness. Please chant with me. My voice is a little tired, so I'm going to skip these chants and go right here. Please gently touch the tip of your left thumb to the tip of your left little finger, and then rest this left hand upon your left thigh, thus gently inviting your real or imagined subtle energy to coalesce in the bladder region of your lower abdomen. May all minds of all beings know me as peacefully enlightened as the lucid yet void mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a deeply one syllable zero bija mantra. So we take all these words and allow them to coalesce down to 6 syllables that we divide between 4 inhalations and 4 exhalations. Om Ahum Zaguru Memaziri Hung. 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 No, it is not our job to visualize or believe or emote. If all we do is silently and mentally play with these words as we breathe in and relax as best we can whilst chanting this 12-syllable mantra, so good could come of it. Om Ahum Zaguru Memaziri Hung. 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 Please touch the tip of your left thumb to the tip of your left ring finger and rest your left hand upon your left thigh. May all relationships, all speech of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech resounding yet void symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Om Ahum Zaguru Memaziri Hung. 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 Please touch the tip of your left thumb to the tip of your left middle finger and rest your left hand upon your left thigh. May all bodies of all forms of all... Let's check this again. May all bodies or forms of all beings know and enjoy the beautiful health represented by Buddha's statuary, depicting the blissful body, sensual yet void of a real or imagined yadamanic type of enlightenment. Let's try slang for a second here, see if this can't look prettier to the eye. I think that looks prettier. What do you think? Om Ahum Zaguru Memaziri Hung. 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 Om Ahum Zaguru me maziri hum. 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 Please touch the tip of your thumb, your left thumb, to the tip of your left index finger, and rest this left hand upon your left thigh. Let us lovingly wish that all beings everywhere, all beings, be freed from the tyranny of others' cruelty, be freed from the cruelty of sexism, racism, transphobia, homophobia, classism, exploitation, fascism, jingoism, and genocide. Please chant with me. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safe fortune or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Ati appearing yet void. Om Ahum Zaguru me maziri hum. 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 I sincerely hope this has been beneficial for you. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.